Say what now? Oh my goodness. So let's just take a look as to how we got here, this moment in time. And I, along with many others, we're talking about how Trump may deport, Black Americans, how Trump may deport citizens. Now, I don't know about other people, but I, of course, meant it in jest, okay? I wasn't seriously scared or terrified of the possibility that Trump would try and start deporting, Black Americans, that he would try and start deporting citizens. That never really crossed my mind. I always held it as a possibility, right? Given as far as this administration, how they've been, we got to stop anti-white racism, how they've been targeting and deporting people who've been speaking ill of what's going on in Gaza or have been anti-Israel for lack of better words. He's been having no problem deporting those people. And I'm like, that could very well fall on us. Jokey joke, right? Never once did I truly was in fear. Once again, possibility versus probability. Funny as possibility, absolutely low probability. And many people, this conversation came about, of course, due to ICE, the ICE raids. Because you had people talking about, hey, Lucas, you got to stand up and fight. You got to go out and, protest ICE and, what's going on in LA and everything. And I was like many other Black Americans, bruh, nah, this ain't my fight. This got nothing to do with it, fam. It got nothing to do with me, okay? My name is Bennett. I ain't in it. We've already saw what happened when it came to BLM and how they set people up, putting bricks on corners and stuff like that. Nah, I'm good. Especially when it comes to ICE. I'm not an illegal, fam. I'm a U.S. citizen. I don't know what to tell you. I got blood in this land. Just is what it is. Now, having said that, I will say that I wasn't as extreme as other Black Americans because I very much believe that, hey, if you do a crime, right? If you're doing some crazy criminal activity and you're here illegally, absolutely, get you out of here, bro. Get the boot. Sayonara, take care. But if you've been here like 10 plus years, you don't have any criminal history, bruh, and you have a consistent, stable job, why would I boot you? You've shown that you can assimilate, in this country. You've shown you can be, a member of society, a productive member of society. Why would I give you the boot? Nah, I'm going to give you a pathway to citizenship. That was my argument. And that was very much Kamala Harris' argument. I don't have a problem with that. It is what it is. Many people, didn't agree with that. No, you got to get out of here. You all got to get out of here. And I think some Black people were led astray because they believed that upon them getting the boot, that somehow that was going to open up the jobs for Black people. Now, I don't know how you get to that outcome if you believe the country is systemically racist, okay? Systemically racist against us. So I don't know how the country would do something for our benefit because historically speaking, I don't recall that really happening, okay? Post, as I said, civil rights. I don't recall that, okay? In addition to that, I've always said Black people aren't going to do those jobs. It just is what it is. And, being here in this country, we've gone assimilated very, very well. And our ego is just, we're not going to do that. We ain't going to pick cotton. We ain't going to do anything that is even close to picking cotton. We ain't going to pick berries. We ain't going to pick watermelon. We ain't going to pick seeds. It's just not going to happen, all right? And especially not at the rates that y'all were charging them.
He's out of line, but he's right.
It's just not going to happen. So you had two options. Either you're going to raise the rates. I will pick a strawberry for, $40 an hour, $50 an hour. But now we can talk, okay? More than likely, due to the system of capitalism, that's not how capitalism works, fam. And I think there was a lot of white ignorance along with the Black ignorance who got because that's not what was the plan ever. That was that was never the plan. And recently, as we can see, Trump had to stop deporting many of them because, as I said, they're so integral to the country that you can't do that without completely crashing the economy. Damn. He stopped deporting immigrants in certain sectors. What they would do and what they have shown to do is automate. So before they give, your Black butt a job, they're going to automate, bro. They're going to bring in, beep, bop, beep, boop, beep, bop. That's what's going to happen. I also mentioned when it came to the H-1B visas, because certain individuals with a higher education, they believe that, they're going to go untouched by, immigration and everything. And that's not happening because much of the H-1B visas, They're bringing them over to Apple. They're bringing them over to Tesla. That's why Elon was against, deportations and everything, because they're in those companies. That's how there's like a significant brain drain in many of these other countries, because we take them and bring them over here. That's why many of the elites and the rich were concerned about this, because that affects their pockets.
Playing with my money is like playing with my emotions.
This now leads us to present day. And Trump has come out and talked about, hey, we got a lot of bad, hombres here, and we got to get them out of here.
I'd like to say, a little controversial, but I couldn't care less. We have a lot of bad criminals that came into this country, and they came in stupidly. It was an unforced error. It was an incompetent president that allowed it to happen.
And I think most people are like, okay, yeah, sure, bet. I completely understand, get them out of here. But then he goes on to say, and he's like, it may be controversial, but I don't care. But we also have a lot of bad people who are born here.
But we also have a lot of bad people that have been here for a long time. People that whack people over the head with a baseball bat from behind when they're not looking and kill them. People that knife you when you're walking down the street. They're not new to our country. They're old to our country. Many of them were born in our country. I think we ought to get them the hell out of here, too. You want to know the truth. So maybe that'll be the next job that we'll work on together.
Now, if from my calculations, if they're correct, carry the 1 over the 0 and the 2, I think he means citizens. That's what I think he means, because that's the only people who are born here, okay? That we've been here for quite some time. And when you start mentioning criminals, because I started listening to what he was saying, talking about, you get pushed over by into a subway and everything. I'm like, where is he getting this from?
But I think getting them out, we forget about them. We had some bad accidents in New York, and they're not accidents. They were done very much in purpose. People being pushed into a subway just before it arrives, going 40 miles an hour. And they're 10 feet away from where the thing is, you get pushed right into the face of the subway train, get whacked and killed. And these are sick people. I'd like to get them out of here, too.
And then I check it out. I'm like, oh, this is an actual story. Apparently, there was a black man who pushed somebody into the subway, and they were, gravely injured. I'm like, that's interesting. Now, aside from that story, who on God's green earth do you believe that they're talking to in the United States of America, or they're talking about when referencing criminals? Okay, I'll give you some time. Black people, that's who they're talking about. Us. That's what they're talking about.
Wake up, nigga.
To be more specific, black and brown. Okay, that's what but they already have their way for the brown, because that's thanks to ICE and deportation. But now they had a problem with the black people, because one thing they didn't want is black people. They're like, oh man, goodness gracious, y'all are here and we got no way to get y'all out. So what we're gonna do is incarcerate y'all. That's what they did. Now they're talking about, well, now we got to figure out a way to get y'all up out of here, because the goal, you have to understand the goal, Stephen Miller and the racists that he has in his cabinet is an all-white society. It's an all-white country. They want to go back to like way back in the Naturalization Acts, because if you read the naturalization laws and stuff like that, it was for white citizens. That's what they want to go back to. That's what their white ignorant base wants to go back to. Now, do I think that they'll be able to survive? No, because racism it's like work for a worker bee. You ever know that if you put a worker bee and you give it nothing to do, it'll die. That's what will happen. So if they try and do something like that, there will be some type of revolution, because the only thing that's keeping the white ignorance at bay is the fact that they get to taunt, ridicule, demean, and belittle Black Americans. That's the only thing. It goes back to the Lyndon B. Johnson quote, okay? That's the only way they get to dig out of their pockets. That's the only way they get to hustle them when it comes to politics. That's the only way they get to hustle them when it comes to the system, is that, hey, don't look over here. Look at the black guy. Look at the criminal. Hey, they just robbed that store. Hey, look, they just robbed the CVS. Hey, look at the S-hole that's going on in New York. That's the only way they get to have this hierarchy of power, okay? That's the only way. So the moment in time, there's nothing to go, hey, look over here, it's game over, okay? It's game over.
Damn.
These white ignorants, these racists, this lineage of evil, they have a crazy hard-on for hating black people. It's not the same with any other group. You can try and say, what about the Latinos? What about this? It's not the same. It's never been the same. We go together like peanut butter and jelly. It's unfortunate, but that's how that relationship is. That's how that dynamic goes into play. I just want to put this out here because this is definitely a way, how I see, is to really amp up the systemic racism. Because as we already know, our communities are already, they're already over policed as is. And they're not thinking of, like, let's see, how do we, reform these people? They want to destroy. They want to cripple a group of people. That's what they want to do. That's what they've always wanted to do, historically speaking. That's why I say lineage of evil. So you have to understand that if he puts this idea into practice, if he codifies this racism, then it's gonna get bad, bro. It's gonna get bad. And here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. This may be a blessing in disguise, okay? Just side note here. You can dismiss this. You can end the video. But side note, this is always something that I've said, that black people have been so conditioned. We've been so just, I don't know, man. We've been brainwashed being here in this country. Like I said, the Stockholm syndrome, that the only thing that would wake someone up is a pattern disruption. That's the only thing that would wake someone up. And that pattern disruption, due to the brainwashing that has happened over generations and generations, would have to be severe. It would have to be extremely severe. And that's where I got that when it comes to, hey, there has to be a Moses figure who leads people to the promised land, or there has to be a catastrophe. Something so diabolical that it forces us to unite. It forces us to unify against, the evils that are going to be facing us. It may backfire on them, to be honest with you. It may just backfire on them. But I just wanted to put that out there. Just food for thought. Because I know, many of us, I have an ego as well. Like, I'm untouchable, bro. I'm a black American. You ain't gonna deport me. You ain't gonna, get out of my face. And that ego, I don't think that's our ego. I think that's the ego of the lineage of evil, okay? That we've been around evil so long that we start to pick up some of their traits and their habits and their attributes, we'll say. And we have got to shake that off, all right? We got to shake that off, because when you have someone like Trump and you have this cabinet, you can't put anything past them. You can't. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think, whether or not Lucases will never happen. It won't happen. We're Americans. We're citizens. It won't happen. Or if you can't believe, listen, that sounds like cope. I don't know what to tell you. That's why I've said that all the people who are trying to cause division amongst black immigrants and black Americans, they're CIA. That's what they are, okay? Those are agents. Anyone who's trying to cause division amongst black people is an agent, because that is an agent of white supremacy. That is an agent of systemic racism. That's what they want, okay? They want a Tower of Babel where everybody hates everybody, everybody's talking differently, okay? But there's no communication. So just keep that in mind. This is not the time to listen to agent talk. This is not the time for that. But I know, people don't, listen to me half the time, so it is what it is. Nevertheless, if you happen to disagree, you know where to find me. Thursday through Saturday, disagreement day. You call in and we duke it out. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment. Let me know, what are your thoughts on this? Should we be concerned, or should we just, be flipping about and dismiss it? And make sure to subscribe and all that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing.
I think we ought to get them the hell out of here, too.